This afternoon, we have Trey Markel from Centrex Software. Excited to have Trey back on board with us. They too will be in Orlando this year. Looking forward to that. Trey will also be presenting on a couple of our breakout sessions too. So, stay tuned for some great stuff coming up from Trey and Centric. But with that said, sir, I'm going to turn this over to you. If any questions pop up, do you want me to hold them to the end or just bring them in and let them chat with you?
Yeah, I think the end sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Go right ahead, sir. It's all you.
Okay, great, Scott. Thanks so much for having me today. I appreciate you guys. Hello, everyone. My name's Trey Markel. I'm VP of Sales and Marketing for Centrex Software. Centrex Software is a finance dedicated kind of software platform for brokers and lending institutions to kind of run the entire business. Right. So our portfolio is about 70% brokers, about 30% direct lenders and funders that need to service a portfolio and pay out investors for kind of their fund. Right. So technology is obviously a massive conversation in the industry. What technology are you going to be using? Where are you going? How much does it cost? Security. We're going to kind of touch on a few points today to help you guys understand a few more things about software. Okay. So number one, what can software do for you? We're going to touch on that briefly. Number two, what should you build or create when you've chosen a software vendor? Got some good thoughts on that. Number three, when is the right time to make a purchase? A lot of kind of reverse psychology on that one we'll discuss. Number four, what to look for when reviewing enterprise software. And then number five, what can Centrex do for you guys? So I speak at a lot of trade shows around the country throughout the year, guys. And one of the big things I try to not do is be a salesman for Centrex, though that's what I am. And I try to be more of an educator on saying, hey, look, if you're going to go down the software road, which we all know we need to do eventually, what is the right path for you? Right. And it's not a one size fits all strategy, depending on your goals and your values and, how you want to build out your ecosystem. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one here. What can software do for you? It's so funny. Have you guys ever been to the airport or I don't know, you go somewhere where you're in close proximity to a lot of other people. I'll be in a bar in an airport and I'll look to my right and, this, younger person has a flip telephone. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm not judging you by any means, but for a split second there, I'm just like, how do you live your life with this archaic piece of technology? And it boggles my mind because here at Centrex, we go into a lot of finance organizations, whether they're brokers or lenders, and there's 40, 50 employees there working off Excel spreadsheets. And they're actually not doing too horribly. They know they're behind. They know they need to adopt enterprise software. But it's interesting to see as we go deeper and deeper into the finance industry on the software requirements that the industry kind of has. Right. So a few stats here to just kind of think about software in general. CRM software is the largest software market in the world, $80 billion plus a year. Right. So it is the number one licensed piece of technology for businesses around the world as a CRM, a customer relationship management. Okay. Without a CRM LOS, 79% of all paid leads are never converted into sales. Right. So not using technology, not adopting some sort of piece of technology, we're leaving some money on the table. Right. And then the last one here, the probability of selling to a new prospect is 5 to 20%. The probability of selling to an existing client base is 60 to 70%. Nurturing your own client base once you have them as a client with a good piece of technology allows you to generate even more revenue for the business and build even stronger relationships. Okay, so the point of the slide, I suppose, is to kind of tell you guys, if you haven't chosen or you're not thinking about an operational software platform that you can kind of live in day to day, you and your staff tracking your leads, tracking your documents, what are the stages and statuses? Am I tracking my communication to that client? Right? You're absolutely leaving money on the table and you're absolutely being left behind. Right? This is where the industry is going. A lot of the lending institutions, RCN, who just spoke, they're going to require technology for you to work with them. Right. So a little bit about software there. Okay. There we go. Okay. The second topic today, what should you build or create? This is a book, you guys, written by a gentleman by the name of Paulo Cerrone. Paulo Cerrone is the lead head of capital markets for IBM. And this is a book he wrote. This is what I call the Fintech Bible for software companies like us. Now, it's not your rom-com page turner, guys. It's a finance dedicated fintech book. But if you can find yourself to read it, it's quite interesting on what Paulo says the future of the technology that you're going to use is. What does that future look like? And what he says is that future is far more based around an experience, which is what we call an outcome, versus a unit of measure, which is what we call an output. Okay, so the modern day today, what a lot of people are doing is I have my financial product. You guys have your distribution channels for those financial products. And then you have a unit of measure. That's an output. I sold 5 loans this month or 10 loans this month, right? Paulo says that's fine. It's important to track those measurements. However, modern day future technology is going to be platforms. We're going to bring someone into a platform, into an ecosystem. We are going to offer them value added products and services along the way, their path to success, and we're going to produce an experience, right? The experience is what we're trying to produce. And every time I get on stage and I talk about the experience, a lot of people instantly go to the customer, which is great. Don't get me wrong. You want your clients to have a nice experience. But in this industry, who else do you guys have to work with? Well, you have to work with lenders. You have to work with brokers. If you've been in business for a while and you want to start a fund, you have to work with investors. You have to work with attorneys, and you have to work with your clients, the borrowers at the end of the day. What type of experience am I offering them via finance technology, right? How am I allowing them to communicate with me? Am I giving them portals? Is there automation? Is there maybe some AI built in, right? So Paulo Cerrone, this is an incredible book. I always recommend it, and it'll tell you where fintech is going into the future. Okay, now to give you guys a few examples here, when we talk about an experience, what are some of the brands in our lives that we know create experience? I'm then going to ask you, what are some of the ecosystems that you build for yourself to create your own experience, right? So some of these logos here on the screen, I'm 40 years old. I was born in 1985. It would be weird for me to go into an IKEA today and for there not to be arrows on the floor pointing me through this path to go buy pillows and glasses and kitchens and couches, right? It would be weird for me. It'd be weird for me if I went into a Costco and it didn't look like a big empty warehouse. That would be weird for me. That's the experience these organizations have created, right? If we start looking at the organizations like Walmart and Target, when they first started business, they didn't offer perishable goods. They offered no groceries, right? For many years, it was non-perishable goods, household products, life products. Well, so many years later, both organizations started selling perishable goods because they knew that that caregiver, that husband, that wife, that nanny, that grandma, whoever is caring for the family is going to come to Walmart or Target and purchase their household products. And on the way home, more than likely, they're going to stop at the grocery store to prepare a meal for the family for the evening or for the day or for the week or whatever it may be. So they said, look, they're already in our ecosystem. Why don't we just start selling groceries today, 2025? 50% of Walmart's net profits are from groceries. 50%, 50. We all can buy concessions at gas stations, right? That's an experience that we've created for us, that these brands have created for us. Okay, and then lastly, I'll touch on the experiences that every single person on this call creates for themselves. There's 3 areas that I can think of: your home, your car, and your office, right? These are areas where you build them out, you make them comfortable, you paint the walls, you buy couches, maybe you have an air freshener in your car, you buy, certain carpet, covers. You build that experience. What type of experience are you building for your staff, your customers, your brokers, your lenders, your attorneys in the software? Okay, so that is the goal. That is really the future of finance technology, is how we build that experience for the people we have to work with. Okay, number 3 on our list here, guys, for the topics for today is: when is the right time to make a purchase when it comes to software? Okay, number 1, everyone knows we need software. Everyone talks about it. We look at it. We're marketing it all the time, right? It's a personal decision. And one of the things I always tell people is start with what you value. What do you value in your business when it comes to software? If you value a big name and branding and naming is for you, maybe that Salesforce product or that big expensive brand name is right for you, right? If you really value something different like email and text message marketing, okay, go find a product that really dominates that. Right? Start with what you value. Sometimes these things are right and not for everyone. Okay, you got to work with what you want. Okay, once you've kind of gone down that road and understanding where you value and where to start, be careful on thinking that you're not ready for software. Okay, Centrex software, we have a lot of technology. We have a big ecosystem, and we can make it really simple and really small. I have a couple, a husband and wife couple in Palm Springs, California. They clear $1.5 million a year in commission between the two of them, right? They have no kids, just they've been married 15, 20 years, and they crush it, and they use our software, just the two of them, two users, not a great account for us, just a small account, and they love it. They're a small account. They need help. They need automation. They need systems, right? So don't fall into that trap to where you say, oh, Trey, well, I'm too small. It's just me and my wife, or it's me and my brother, or my partners. It's just a handful of us. No, now is the time to set your roots. Now is the time to make sure that when you're small, when you're growing, you start building that digital ecosystem, so that when you guys really hit that line, it's not stopping you. Okay. So I always love when people come to me and say I'm too small, right? Though it's not our most profitable account at Centrex, if you're a really small shop, but if I'm consulting you and you hired me to consult for you for software, it's the perfect time to start looking at tech. Build good habits now. Start out of the gate with e-sign technology. Talk about APIs. Talk about communicating with your lenders more in a more automated way. It's all doable today. Okay. And then of course the next thing is waiting too long is a momentum killer, right? You guys find success in your business and you're growing you're growing momentum and you're seeing the snowball effect. I mean, good luck trying to slow down and implement a piece of enterprise technology that for a fact you have to have, right? Do it before the growth. Really try your hardest. And you know what? You make a wrong decision, you're going to have to switch. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. You have to pivot sometimes. Okay. Okay, the last one here, what to look for when looking for an enterprise software company. Okay, again, guys, start with your values. What do you value? Just because you need technology, just don't go blindly buy a piece of technology. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, right? So start with your values. What do you like? Start there. And then a few other bullet points. Always be cautious when looking at software platforms. First one here on the far left, consolidation of technology within one platform. This is what Paulo Cerrone was trying to say in his book, right? Instead of Frankensteining 15 software platforms together, try to find something that has kind of as much as you can possibly get under one roof, right? And that's what kind of Centrex has tried to do over the years, and we'll show you that here in a second. Number 2 bullet point here on the left, quality support that is available and understands. Right? We all love the Salesforces and the HubSpots and the Zohos of the world. And if those platforms are good for you, by all means, go for it. It's a great starting point for a lot of organizations. However, they are not finance specific. Supporting you and your needs in a finance way is going to be tough. You're going to get that big name. You're going to get not expensive software, but you're not going to get a lot of help with it. Okay. Number 3 here, training program that helps you get started. Training programs are a must, guys. You gotta have a nice training platform. Maybe it's a whole bunch of videos, and it's like a library of videos you can look at. Here at Centrex, we hold your hand for 30 days post sign up, and we really get you implemented into the software. Okay. On the far right, web and marketing assets that look professional and secure. Obviously, it's not a great look if you're looking at software companies where their presence online is not fabulous. Their email templates aren't fabulous. Their proposals don't look great. Definitely some yellow flags. Those organizations have a bit more to do to compete with some of the platforms that have been in the space for a while. Okay. Second to last, data and system security. Always ask, guys. Always. I know no one's really a cybersecurity expert in this world unless you do it for a living, right? But always ask what are your securities? What are your system of controls look like? We do business with a lot of banks and credit unions. Are always asking us for our SOC 2 report. SOC 2 report is pretty much your security infrastructure. Okay, so always talk about security. And then industry specific tech. These days, you have a lot of niche products, niche software products, right? Arguably, you could say working with those organizations is better in your industry because you're going to get people that are knowledgeable on the other end of the telephone that know your sector. Here at Centrex, all we know is finance. That's all we do. Now, on the other side, you're not going to get an organization the size of Salesforce, right? When you do niche products, your company can only grow so big, even if you dominate the sector, right? So like here at Centrex Software, we're about 170, 180 employees. I think Salesforce has 180 maintenance employees in one location, right? So different ball game depending what you look at. Okay, so a little bit about what is Centrex. A little education, guys, on the front end, how to look at software, where to start when it comes to software. Don't be afraid to dive in. Don't think you're too small, right? And how can Centrex kind of help you guys out? Okay, so we took Paulo Cerrone's book to heart. We've been in business about 15 years, and we did a lot of this before we kind of met Paulo's book and started looking at fintech and banking. But our goal here at Centrex is to bring as many things under one roof as we possibly can. Right? We don't get it perfect, but if we can do our best to bring as much things as we can, that would be great. Okay, so from CRM to LOS. So those are direct lenders that are servicing portfolios and doing payment processing, email and text message marketing, your calendar system, all your pipeline management, your integrations with your website. Do you want to offer your clients a mobile app and client portals to log in, to upload documents and see statuses, right? So Centrex has this really cool menu, kind of like you walk into a restaurant and you have a menu and you get to pick and choose the things off the menu that you want and don't want in a Centrex software platform to run your business. You know what? I don't need e-sign technology right now. I don't need, text messaging technology right now. I'm good. Okay, you don't pay for those services. Okay, so that's kind of our what we're trying to do here at Centrex Software. Okay, let's jump into the system real quick, just so I can show you guys a sneak peek of what the ecosystem looks like here at Centrex, what you guys have the ability to do. If you guys can see my screen here, what's in the Centrex platform, if you're using all of our technology, this is what it's going to look like. Right? We have clients that come to us and say, I want all the bells and whistles. I want everything. You log in. This is what your super admin account is going to look like. And as you can see here, you've got a lot of different items to look at when it comes to super admin if you're using everything. We have a bunch of startups and we have smaller shops that come to me and say, Trey, I just need something basic and I want to grow into the platform. Love hearing that. When you guys log in, you'll get the contacts tab and maybe the calendar tab and maybe the loans tab, and that's it. None of these tabs will be here. They'll all be gone, right? So the nice part about a menu is you can crawl, walk, run into more technology. If you're hungry later at a restaurant, you can always order more, right? So same concept here at Centrex Software. Okay, let's jump into a contact real quick. Any software platform, Centrex included, is going to have what we call a contact opportunity type of relationship infrastructure. Okay, I have a contact inside my software. A contact is a business owner, a first name and a last name. So I have Al's Laundry Service here. Me, I'm the owner. Right, and this is what we call that contact. And then an opportunity, that's more of a Salesforce term. I have an opportunity to give them a loan. Centrex, because we're finance specific, we have something called advances and or loans. So if you're doing both advances and loans, you have both here for this contact. If you're just doing one or the other, well, then you'll just have one or the other for this particular contact in the software. Okay, but this contact here is a 360 view of this borrower, right? So if you've sent this borrower any emails, every single one of your emails is going to be in the software that you've sent. It'll show you the date and time the borrower opened the email, your client opened the email, and you can always see the tracking, the date and time stamps of when you sent it and who sent it. Let's say you guys have phone calls that you're making to these clients. We do have a phone system integration with like Ring Central, for example, and you can track your phone calls. And you can even track the conversation of your calls if you wish to do so here as well. You have notes. Notes are obviously a huge one. If you guys want to take any notes on this borrower, date and timestamp those notes, search those notes. Maybe I want to notify other team members about this note. I've got some note templates all under one roof, all in one place. Okay. Text messaging. We all know how big texting is today. It's so much easier to just send someone a text and get on a phone or send an email. Okay. Two-way text messaging in the software. You text message your client, they respond. The entire response and conversation comes back in the software. Right. You can send your e-sign documents out for text message, and you can send forms out for text message. Okay. Here's all your documents. So if you guys have documents, tax returns, bank statements, voided checks, driver's license, right, whatever it may be, corp docs, those can all be uploaded right here. And then of course you have your ClickSign docs, which is our e-sign technology. You can send documents out to the client for electronic signature right on the screen. And when they sign those documents, they come right back into the software, marked as completed. Okay, and we can see all the different details of all the IP addresses. We can see the actual document. We can see the digital certificate, and that's all available for you. Okay, you have your events, which is the calendar system, a full task management system, right? So the point is the 360 view, being able to see your client from all aspects, all communication, phone numbers. Maybe I want to look at their address down here on the far left and see where their property is or see where they're located in North America, right? Maybe I want to give them access to a customer portal So I grant them access to a customer portal here. This is your 360 view. Any software platform you guys look at should have a page where all the information you need is on mostly one screen for the client. Okay, and then we go into our opportunities. So for those of you that are doing corporate advances, or those of you that are actually doing corporate loans, whether you're brokering or funding, right? We can come in to a specific advance and we can look at the deal and the specific information for this particular advance, commissions, pulling credit. Do I want to submit off to multiple lending institutions? Okay, and if I go back to Al's Laundry Service, we have that same thing for loans. Okay, so I can see all my loans on file. I can jump into this particular loan. And because it's a loan, it has an amortization schedule associated to it, right? So we can look at those loan events. We can see that AM schedule. We can see the AM chart and any commissions that we want to track for this offer for this particular loan. Okay, so again, a 360 view of this particular client. Now, these are your borrowers. A lot of you are brokers. How do we want to manage our lending institutions? If we come into the lending tab here, lenders, you can add any lender you wish into the software that you're currently working with. You've got some information on your lenders. You can take any notes if you wish on your lenders. Any advances or loans that you're currently working with this particular lender, you can come in here and see how much you've closed with this lender over the course of time. Here's all the loans with this lender. And then you've got criteria configuration. One of the coolest parts about our platform, guys, you won't see a lot of other places, is matchmaking technology. So if you've got your lenders and you happen to know mostly what your lenders accept and don't accept, you can come in here and build these filter sets out for this lender, save this lender. And then when you want to go do a submission off to your lenders for a borrower submission, our system will recommend which lenders to send it to based on 100% match rate. Okay, and this is where you can submit these filters for this lender. And then you've got submission configuration. Most lending institutions today, guys, do allow email submissions. You can just email them a new submission, but a lot of lending institutions require what we call an API submission or a portal submission, which Centrex has the ability to do as well. Okay, so we've got your borrowers as contacts. We have opportunities for those borrowers in the loans tab and in the advances tab associated to a contact. And then we have all your lending institutions that you're managing as well. So if we were to give you one last example here on how those two work together, here's Al's Laundry Service. Here's a borrower, right? I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Let's say this is an advance. I'm going to jump into this particular advance. I want to submit this deal to multiple lending institutions. I'm going to come to submissions. I'm going to choose this. I'm going to choose the documents that I want to package up in this deal. I want to choose the lending institutions that I want to send it to. And then I can click on submit package, and that submits to those multiple lending institutions that you've chosen. Okay, and then you can track all those submissions in the reporting tab, and you can track all those submissions right here on screen. Okay, so it's kind of a nice way to, shop out your deals, send it to different lenders. You can send it to one at a time. You can send it to multiple lending institutions at the same time. And then as those offers come in, you can put all those offers back in the software. Okay, so again, Centrex is really trying to be that one-stop shop, or trying to be that hub of all your information and all your day-to-day living, that ecosystem that you build yourself and your staff and your customers, so that you guys don't have to leave so many places and deal with so many vendors. Kind of try and take the headache out of the operational software game day in and day out. Okay, so there's a lot of other great technology in here for you guys to utilize. For some of you that are more dynamic, you want to get into email marketing, you want to get into text message marketing, maybe website form integrations, right? There's a lot of great information there. You guys can always come over to centrexsoftware.com. You can roll your mouse over products, roll your mouse over features, and you can see a lot of the different things that we can offer as a software company. Okay, and I'll end on this. And Scott, thank you so much for the time. Again, it's all about your ecosystem, guys. It's what you want. It's what makes you comfortable. It's what makes you happy, right? Centrex is a great solution. We're not the best solution for everybody, right? Find something that you value, something that works for your day, your personality, your life. That's where you guys are going to find success with enterprise technology.
Cool. Hey, Trey, we got a couple questions. You okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
Amy Burke, are you out there?
Yeah.
Right ahead.
Yeah, I was just asking if if this works for commercial real estate, SBA, and equipment financing.
Yeah, it's a great question. Centrex software at the end of the day doesn't actually care what type of product you're offering. We entertain advances and loans, and each individual loan, you have an amortization calculator. So it doesn't necessarily matter if it's a commercial mortgage, an equipment finance, a term loan, right? Are you doing a fix and flip real estate where it's interest only for 12 months and a balloon at month 13, right? You've got a lot of different ways to slice and dice the product as it relates to what you're trying to do in the software from a calculation perspective.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
L'Oreal, are you out there?
Yes.
Oh, there's you. You were there. You just went back on mute.
Okay. Am I here yet?
There you go. Yep, I can hear
Okay.
you. Go right ahead.
Yes. Question, Trey. Does the software help you manage other brokers that work under you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So here in the admin tab, let's say you were to come on and buy a license of Centrex software. You guys have the abilities to create as many custom roles in the software as you wish. And look, here's all the permissions for those roles. And then you can add users in the software at any time you want, and you can associate those users to a company. Okay, so our system has a parent, child, grandchild infrastructure built into it. Okay, so you'll be the parent. Any broker that you want to bring underneath you, step one is come in here, add company. So I'm going to add this ISO company, right? This is an ISO broker, add the company. Once I've added the company, then I'm going to add the user. I'm going to associate that user to that company, right? So then you've got the multi-company management, multiple hierarchy management to manage any downline, any brokers below you, any brokers next to you as a license in the software.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's great.
Absolutely.
That shit is really cool. Hey, Trey, talk a little bit about support. You got a lot of stuff going on here, and I know it's, everybody picks what they need for their particular business, but you guys have a support section and you do a bunch of training also. Can you share a little information about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have full W-2 support here in the United States. All they do all day long is support our product day to day as tickets come in. So that's number one. I'd say like 50% of our tickets are always, how do you do this? How do you do that? Right. And the other half is, we need to fix something. So that's number one. You guys also have something called our Centrex Software Training Academy. The Training Academy is over 95 different short 2-3 minute videos on how to use the software. Right. I always tell people to crawl, walk, run into software. Try not to learn the whole thing in a week. You're gonna go insane. Right. It's like being introduced to Facebook for the very first time, and you don't know how to find a friend. Right. It's a lot to look at. Right. So and then we also do implementation. So your implementation period here at Centrex is default 30 days with a maximum of 1 hour a day. And the clients that work with us every day for 1 hour a day, those are the ones that really get to know the software well, right? They really understand it. They understand the heartbeat of the software, and they can really utilize it to help them grow their business. I think sometimes what happens is you go on vacation for 2 weeks during implementation, or you don't respond to some of our phone calls because you're busy. And we understand that, but it prolongs the implementation process. Right. So we've got a lot of features here from the academy to full support and to implementation to make sure that you guys are, using the software correctly and the right way.
I love the training academy. That's really cool. Have you guys always had that, or is that something new?
The training academy we've always had, but just earlier this year, we just refreshed all the videos. So some of
That's
the
cool.
videos
I
were
love that.
yeah, they were a few years old. So I think in like March, April of this year, we just redid all of them. If you guys also want to check out Centrex Software's YouTube channel, you go all the way to the bottom of the website. Let's see here. And you look at our YouTube channel. Yeah, a lot of great video content here as well on the different types of
Cool.
products and services.
That's great, man. Any other questions for Trey while we have him? We'll give it a second or two. Trey, I'll get you all the folks that attended today, so you can just reach out to them and drop a little thank you and get any information that you may have to share with them or questions they may have answered. But we'll get your contact information out to them and they can connect with you. Great stuff as always, man. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to share information about Centrex, and looking forward to seeing you guys in October.
Yes, thank you, Scott. Always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing all you guys in Florida. Have an awesome week.